Welcome to another episode of Flying Sparks Garage. We have some incredible wins on this episode, and we also face a reality that changes our plans. My sweet grandfather, who is 94, is entering a chapter of his life where his body is just, in his words, really tired. And he has entered into help from hospice, and my whole family is kind of gathering near and loving on him and loving on each other. And we cannot fathom leaving at this time. We talked to Permatex early in the week and let them know what was going on in our world and shared our heart on it. And they were in so much support of us staying with family and pulling close and prioritizing that. And so that is what we are doing. What has developed throughout this week, though, has been so amazing. One of the people I touched base with about us not being able to come to the show was Jeremy at 4 State Trucks. And then next thing I knew, I was hearing from our friend Sam, who is a fellow YouTuber, OTR Bandit. He is a professional trucker, and we met him when we were at the show in Joplin, and the dude pulled through. Brian Martin, who is boss man that owns 4 State Trucks, he was like, oh yeah, I've got a hay trailer we can use. Come get it, Sam. Go get their truck and take it to where it belongs in the booth in Kentucky. So if you're headed out to the Mid-America Truck Show and you were looking forward to seeing our truck there, you will absolutely see it in the Permatex booth outside. We are so grateful for such close friends in the industry that are willing to pull together and make stuff like this happen, not only for us, but for Permatex, who was gonna have an empty booth. So giant thanks to all of those guys. If you see them at the show, please give them a high five or a handshake, or if you're me, give them a hug and thank them for the efforts.
I don't know if Bandit likes hugs too much. So yes, give him a hug when you see him. Those guys really made it happen. You know, this was all Jeremy's idea. We basically said, we can't leave. We just can't do it. And Jeremy said, well, let me work on some things. And well, little did we know he was working on getting a trailer, getting somebody to pull it down there. And these guys are just awesome. They're just pulling together, making it happen so you guys can see the truck. So Permatex can have a truck in their booth. And it's unfortunate we won't be there, but you know, 5 months from now, a year from now, we probably won't regret missing Matt's as much as we would not being here for the family when they need us. So this stuff happens, and if you're in these situations, prioritize. Just, you know what's right.
Yep. One of the things we hear all the time from you guys is it means so much to y'all how much family means to us. And it really, truly is the first and most important thing. So we are so grateful for each and every one of you. And you have a lot to look forward to in this episode because we truly have a blast getting this truck back on the road. And after this episode, you have more progress because we've gotten so much done on the truck. So enjoy this episode where we get Grandpa Grime breathing fresh air and driving under his own power. And we cannot wait for you guys to see the truck in person at the Mid-America Truck Show in the Permatex booth.
And if you guys have it in you, some prayers would be nice for this sweet family.
Yep, prayers for comfort and peace through this time would be so very much appreciated. We love you guys.
Okay, so today I'm figuring out the brake system on this. We've got a foot valve, we have a parking valve. We have 4 chambers, 4 parking chambers that need constant air pressure to release the brakes and then service air pressure to reapply the brakes when we want to slow down. I am a very visual learner, which is probably why I did really poorly in school and ultimately dropped out of high school, because I need to see it. Once you show it to me, got it forever. Won't forget, but you got to show me. So I'm attempting to show myself. I'll show you what I got. So this is how my brain works. Brake pedal, that is the valve. We got one for the trailer, one for the tractor. We're only going to wire in the tractor one because I'm not using a trailer right now. So we got that. That's the parking brake. Got a primary air tank. I've yet to draw the secondary air tank on this side. Brake chambers. See it? Front, green, that's service brakes. Rear, yellow, that is parking brakes. Those are the springs that when you let the air pressure out, they apply the brakes. And we got these little jobbies here. I have 2 of them because I have 2 parking chambers. Those are the parking chamber valve thingamajiggers. Then we got an R12 valve right here. This is where you get from the brake pedal all the way down to this guy, distributes to the brake chambers, and then you've got a T here to T in all 4 brake chambers. I'm still waiting on that R12 valve to come in, but so far this is the only way I can make it make sense. I had too much information in my brain and not enough down on paper. So that's how we're gonna plumb it. And if it doesn't work, we're gonna read some more and replumb it. Right, I got all the old hoses off these air tanks, and it is time to put them back in here so I can start figuring this thing out. Okay, air tanks are in. I took all the old hoses off and I've just got these fittings. I will have to adapt those to whatever we're going to use. We'll have one main coming from the air compressor, obviously. We've got these 2 purples, that's our airbags. So we'll need to put some kind of fitting on here, maybe up there. That's a bleeder, that should actually be on the bottom. But we'll replace that, put one on the bottom, get those hooked in there. And I'm still waiting on stuff to come in. I've still got a lot of valves and stuff that need to come in before I can start plumbing up the brakes. But as soon as that gets here, I'll start tracking down fittings. It is gonna be one of those, put something in, run to the hardware store, find something else, because I just don't have enough fittings here. I've got a lot. I bought this master kit that has all kinds of really nice fittings. That kit also came with lots of hose. That is all DOT hard plastic brake line. So I got a lot of stuff here, but once the valves come in, I'll start plumbing those air tanks up. So I took that little check valve thing out of the top, and I'm gonna put this fitting in. I like these DOT quick connects. I'm gonna put that right in the top of the tank, and that will go to our airbags. I tracked down that second purple hose right here that was going to our airbags. This is for a dump valve that goes in the cab. So if you're backing under a trailer and you need it lower, you dump it. That will be bypassed. We will not be using that. Okay. Ignore that. That needs to be cut out of there. But right here, that is our airbags. Okay, now that is sealed. Perfect. We got one hooked up. So I am looking for a place to put my valves. And I really don't want to cut a hole in this dash. I was hoping those 2 would line up, but they won't. And this is a switch for the winch. It's an air actuated toggle switch kind of. And I'm not going to need that anytime soon. So I think I'm going to take this plate off, make this where it'll go on top of it. And that should be the mounting spot. I don't know totally if it'll work yet. My valves are going to be a little wider than it. Well, I may do it anyways, just to give me something to mount this to. But either way, this needs to get out of our way. Just have the screws right there. Nice. close. There's nothing behind this dash that's going to be used. It's all got to be replaced. So, it's interesting that dash kind of kicks down like it was designed to have something there. So, let's see if we can get this fixed up. What are the chances these screws are coming out? Okay. There it is. I'll get my valve. Valve's plastic, so we don't want to push on it very hard. Well, I think that's going to be too ugly. It's just not going to match up. If it had been a little bit longer and this was painted blue, I would have made it work. But I think I need to cut a new piece and just put these same two holes in it and mount it back under there. Well, it's in. I've got to go get some mallet-headed bolts for these because they're just so close. I would die if that was in my 359 Peterbilt and it looked like that, but I tried to make this one match the inside of the truck. Here's the fun part. It almost hits. Get this synced up. Okay, so that's how close it gets there. Yeah, battery's disconnected. I need those gears to turn a little bit, so this will slide in gear, but it goes right in between here. It literally sits in between here. Oh well, it's not gonna go. Trust me, it goes right in between here. You can see how far forward it goes. And for that first gear, yep. Hello? Hey. I'm up in between these tandems on this truck. Let me come out. I'm coming out.
No, we're just being weird fans.
That's okay.
He's got his Optimus Prime shirt on.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
We were just driving by, saw maybe y'all were in.
Yeah, stepping in out of the sun. Yeah, I got a couple guys refilling my truck. They look like they're doing a good
have
job.
it done if somebody else do.
Yeah. That's wild.
So. All right, we'll let you get back to work.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting us crash your morning for a little bit.
Absolutely. Glad you stopped by. Had some very nice folks just stopped by. Just wanted to say hi. They've been a fan for a while, and turns out his mom has a lake house very close to ours. It's pretty cool. Small world. So we're getting rid of all this ABS stuff in here. It is junk that I don't need to mess with. We'll get rid of the digitals and go back analog.
So what was that about?
Oh, they're fans.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever talked to them before?
No.
No?
No,
So they just came up here?
Yeah, they just came to say hi.
That is so weird to me. What'd they give you?
Nothing, just handshake.
Just a handshake?
Yeah.
That is so weird to me. I don't think I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, luckily most people are very nice. We don't get many weirdos.
Do you get a lot of weirdos?
No, we don't, luckily.
Do you ever like advertise that you're here, or is it just people that like know the area?
Oh no, people will watch the videos and look for road signs just to figure out where you're at.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That's why we're in a commercial building, because we used to do this out of our house, and people would just show up at our house where my wife lives and my niece is next door and all that. And I was like, yeah, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Yeah, so with a commercial building, it's, you know, people are welcome to come up and say hi. Yeah.
Alright, well, we'll get back to work. I just thought they knew you or something.
No. So yeah, what we're doing here is, this is digital. This block, I don't know what it is. There's another one of these over there you can't see, but I'm just eliminating all of it so I can start fresh. Bear with me. I don't know if I'm getting you a good shot or not, but I am certainly wedged up in here. I have to change sides so I can have room to move my arms. So this, hard to tell. I believe this is my service brake. This is my parking, I think. We'll see. I only halfway know what I'm doing, but I will figure it out. Oh boy. Brings back good old days. So I'm totally wedged in here around the drive shaft, trying to get all this stuff off. So bear with me on the shots I get. It's tight. I believe this is our main feed, which we're gonna run a new one, but it's nice to see what size they were using. That's gonna be a 3/4 hose. It's a big boy. That'll come from our primary tanks back to that R12 valve. Come on out of there, big boy. Starting to be able to see what I'm doing. This, I believe, is going to be our service power from our brake pedal. Comes down here, so you got a main air supply. And then this works as a solenoid, so this is like the remote that triggers this to send air pressure. So, we're replacing it as well with all new stuff. There we go. These are the main hoses that go down to the brake chamber, so those will be reused. Probably going to be reusing fittings, all kinds of good stuff. Now we can see, and that the suspension's newer, everything's coming apart very easily, which I love. So now that monstrosity is unhooked. Looks like the whole shebang bolts in here with a couple 3/4, and it just so happens to not be the wrench I brought. Okay, I'm out. Had to wedge myself in there. I've got 2 bolts that hold that whole bracketry on, so all those valves and junk is gonna come out, and then we'll start putting our new stuff in. Okay, got it off. Here is the big mess that we are not gonna be using. You can see in the middle there, that's the R12 valve. So we're putting one of those back on it, an older school one that's more designed for this type of truck. Then you got the anti-lock brake thingies on the side, but what we're looking for are these fittings. We need to put those in our new valve. On this valve, you can see we have supply, delivery, and supply. Then up here, that is the valve that comes from the brake. Think of that as your exciter wire for your solenoid. So, and then here is where these go. A little bit different than the other one, but so this will go down to the rear brake chamber. This will go up to the front one. So I'd like to see a little bit more distance on that slip yoke, but we got to keep in mind that that air system is aired down. So once it raises up, it's gonna make a little more of a gap and it'll be right where we want it. Hopefully I'm doing this right. I do not know what I'm doing. Spent most of my career changing clutches and building engines. The reality is, if it doesn't work, I'm going to diagnose it and make it work. Now, if I'm thinking correctly, this is supply. These won't stay here. This will hook here like this. That's going over a chamber. And this is says balance, so I assume that just needs to go back to the other one because we have two of these. And this will be my supply. We'll tee off of it, go to the other one, supply it, go to the furnace. Got some young gentlemen out here detailing the TRX. They stopped by yesterday to look at the Corvette and GTO and said they had a detailing company. So I said, come on, I need my truck cleaned. Pretty cool to see young people out there getting it. They're working really hard. 18-year-old kids. Decided to start them a detailing business, and best I can tell, they're doing a really good job. You know, I was a kid that didn't make it through high school, didn't want to go to college, and all I had was hard work and just grit to get out there and do it. So I love seeing this. Now they're still in high school, but they're building a future for themselves and they probably don't even know it. That's going to be our primary filter. So it's going to go straight from the tank on the suction side into that filter. It'll catch most of the big stuff before it gets down to our fuel pump. That's just a spin on. It's like every other big truck. Pretty standard. I carry a case of those filters. Just like that. Same thing. Very curious to see how that stuff works. That's a Vaporust, which I've only used in like the bucket where you drop stuff down into it. That stuff works amazing. This is a gel that's supposed to sit on the surface and kind of stay there and eat that rust away. Those two linkages, that is the secondary transmission actuators, and one of them is free, one of them's locked up. So instead of taking that box apart, taking the whole top box off of it, cleaning it up, I decided to try that stuff. So we'll see if it works. So this is our main hose that goes back to the tank from the compressor. These fittings are really cool. They unscrew and you can put a new hose in there, keep the old fitting. And I've done that here. This is brand new DOT hose. So, we got one end on it. I'll run that where it needs to go and put the other end on it. So here's how it works. That's a wedge that goes into your hose. Just like this. This is the same technology that we use on the fuel lines. So this is a reverse and it screws on the hose. And then we push that in there with a little bit of lubricant. Once it gets started, this expands it and it grips into that. So we can make our own hose. So here's the main pressure coming from the compressor. The first length of this is usually metal because that air coming out of there is pretty hot. And at some point, it always transitions to rubber. On newer trucks, you'll see a steel braided hose here instead of this copper, but this is what we got. And I don't want to have to change that fitting because I'll have to make something. So we're going to use this and we'll tee into it here. I haven't decided. I may rotate this around so that hose goes straight down. And we'll take this one directly to an air dryer that I'm going to put on it. All right, I don't love the location of that. You would typically have it up on the frame rail somewhere hidden. However, with this being a spin-on type, if I've got to replace this, I want it out here where I can get to it. It's also close to my air tanks, so I can run my big hose back here to this. I don't remember which side, I'll research it and figure out. But I go straight from the compressor into this, out of this, into my primary air tank. And then this one will get a plug, and then the one on the side over here goes for my governor. And it'll make it, at 120 PSI, it'll make the compressor shut off, and it'll spit and get all the water out of the system. So that's a cool thing to have. Glad I took the time to put that on. What's a new day? Saturday morning. And I'm about to get back on this rig. I just left my parents' house. My dad had the hose that comes from the compressor back to the air dryer. It's actually a stainless steel hose. You know, I was trying to make it out of rubber. And after chatting with him, he's like, yeah, you know, that produces quite a bit of heat. So you might want a little bit more metal in there before you actually switch over to rubber. Give that air a little time to cool down. So luckily he had one laying there on the ground. I was also able to pick up some used 3/4 inch DOT air hose. That stuff's hard to find. I've ordered some online, but it's not here yet. So I'm gonna plumb that in. I'm gonna get that R12 valve put in the back, and we are just one step closer to actually firing this thing up, building air pressure, and seeing if anything works. So here's that R12 valve. Basically, what we have, this is the one that comes from the pedal. So that should actuate this solenoid, so to speak. We've got these two hoses go down to the rear brake chambers. These two go forward to the front brake chambers. And this is your main air supply from your primary tank. I think the correct way to do this is also put an air supply on this side from the secondary tank that would have a check valve in it. So if you lose pressure in the primary, you've still got pressure back here. I don't have enough hose for that, so I'm gonna have to put it in like this for now and then upgrade it later. But I'm gonna climb under there and get this thing installed on the frame. Okay, there it is, mounted. See those two bottom hoses go down to the chambers? Let's start plumbing that thing in. Okay, I got the R12 hooked up. That one fitting on the top that's not hooked up, that comes from the foot valve. But everything else is plumbed in, including the large supply hose. All right, so this is what I ended up with. This is coming from the little parking brake valve inside the cab. This is going to my front chambers. That's going to my back chambers. And then this branches off. This is how it was plumbed before, and goes back to the rear chambers on the parking side. I haven't figured out what balance is yet. I assume that's to kind of piggyback if you have two of these valves, but I think we just need one valve. So I capped that. We'll see if it works. I'm getting mixed information on that. I initially thought I needed two of those valves. I was out visiting with my dad and he said, it's kind of strange to have two valves even though you got 4 parking chambers. So because the 2009 Peterbilt suspension had it set up to where you put that valve there and they've kind of teed it off, I hooked it back up that way. I'll know more once I'm able to pressurize the system. If I push the tractor valve in and it releases my brake, that's all I need to know. I'm good with that. Is it DOT compliant, perfect, legal? I don't know. I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough information. I do know if I can set the parking brakes and release the parking brakes, that's going to get me a lot closer to getting this thing on the trailer, off the trailer, and in its display spot at max. That's what we're going for. Keep that in mind. When you see I'm doing stuff that may not be perfect, I'm trying to get this to a truck show. When I get back from the truck show, I can do all kinds of cool stuff to make this more reliable, street legal, all that stuff. Right now, it's all about showing up for Permatex because we told them we would be there. We thought we'd be further along in the project by now, but as you know, we've been through some junk the last few months. So right now, it is mission, make it run, make it stop, and get it out there so you guys can come see us. So here's our foot valve. The hose on that far side, that hose is coming from our tanks. That's our main feed. Then the one coming upward into the cab, that is just a crossover to allow air pressure to go up to the hand valve. And then way down on the bottom, you can see it, that is going back to that little valve we just put in. And the cab, this is that hose. That's just a supply line. See if I can get you a shot of it. So we're only using half this valve. So best I can tell, we've got it hooked up correctly. Man, it is hard to get you guys in here. So much junk hanging down. You can see there's a supply hose, and then there's one that goes back to the other valve. Let's check on our evapo rust. Feels gooey, like maybe the rust is loosened up. It sure seems like it loosened it up. Yeah, we're gonna spray that off and see how it does. So I just sprayed it off with parts cleaner, and I gotta say that rust is pretty much gone. I don't know what that black residue on there is, maybe paint or something like that, but the rust itself is gone. Still see a little bit in this corner over here where I may not have gotten it sprayed very well. This is kind of up under the truck and hard to see, but that's pretty amazing. Okay, I'm gonna go in the truck and see if those shifters try to move. So I'm not entirely sure of that shift pattern. I determined that that's a 3-speed. And if I go all the way over to the passenger side, it moves up and down, forward and back pretty well. But if I put the stick in neutral, pull it toward the driver's side, and move the stick, it seems to be locked up. Doesn't matter for this trip. Get away from the road. It's too noisy out there. So it doesn't matter for this trip because if you put that secondary auxiliary box in the highest gear, then your transmission just works like normal, your main box. That second transmission is just so you can split up the gears that's in the main box. So all the way over and back, it's just passing right through that transmission. So it's not an overdrive, in other words. So we have enough to make the truck drive, but I'll continue to work on that and see if I can get it freed up. There may be something inside it that's kind of locking it, or maybe it just needs to rotate. I mean, I may need to just crank this truck up and try it then, transmission could be kind of like in a position where it just won't go into that gear right now. Okay, I just went back and looked at that footage, and I can see that that shift tower is trying to shift, and it's almost spring loaded. So I bet you once I get this thing cranked up, I can let it on the clutch. When it shifts that transmission around a little bit, it'll start going in gear. That's pretty cool to see. So these are the proper type hoses that come directly off the compressor back to the air dryer. Stainless steel, heat resistant, and I got these super long ones from my dad's shop. I kind of had a suspicion that I needed a longer one than just this little copper jobby right here. That's all I got. Then I went right into rubber. And he was like, yeah, it may not be a problem, but you should get the right thing. And he just had them laying there. So I'm gonna get this plugged into the compressor, head back to my dryer with it. So this is the factory air pressure regulator or governor on the 53. It had a hose coming from here up there, and that told the air dryer or the check valve to shut the compressor off and bypass. It's not actually turning it off. Obviously that's on a gear set. It's just bypassing until the air pressure drops down below, in this case 120 PSI, then it'll kick back on. So I know for a fact that original governor is going to leak like crazy. May not work. I don't know how to adjust the air pressure. I like my systems at 125 PSI, so I'll adjust it to that once I get this new one on here. What we're putting on it is a D2. This is common on almost all big trucks. You know, pre-2000, this is what we used, a D2. Same one on Grind back there. I know how to adjust it. I know how to work it. So basically that goes right on the compressor. And there are two hoses that come from it. One of them goes down to your tank, so the governor can measure how much air pressure is in the tanks. The other one goes to the air dryer, which tells it to turn off and bypass. So it'll flip a valve, it'll start bypassing air until we get back down below 120, then it'll start building air pressure back up. So I'm gonna hook all that up, and fingers crossed, that'll be the last thing we have to do on this air system, if I got it all right. I may have no clue what I'm doing and have to reroute everything. We'll see. Jeez, that dude's tight in there. It's wanting to strip. I'm gonna go get some heat for it. Well, broke that one off. Man, I can't believe that was so tight. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's broken off down inside there. There's a hole that goes all the way through. So I'm just gonna clean this up, leave that piece of brass in there, because even if I get it easy out, it's gonna be super stuck in there. I don't recommend doing it like this. I'm gonna be very gentle and just knock that big top off. You could very easily cut into your gasket surface if you're not careful. This is like an 80 grit sandpaper, so it's not really a cutting disc. Okay, just to show you I'm not cutting into it. Just knocking the edge right here where that brass was hanging out a little bit, so I'll just cut that down. Okay, so this is what I ended up with. At the bottom one, that goes to the air tank. This goes to the air dryer, and this one's a vent. That is much better, newer technology, and it's gonna work a lot better. Now I can adjust my air pressure by taking this cap off right here, and there is a lock nut and a stud that you tighten or loosen to get different air pressure. So now we have control of how much we build. Well, it's Sunday. I'm waiting on Emily to get back from Florida, and I couldn't help myself. I had to come over here and do a couple things. I just put that new gauge in. That's a really cool gauge. I'd actually bought for Optimus Grind so I could see how much pressure was in my front airbags. Well, if you watched the last video, you know I don't have front airbags anymore. So I put that gauge in here. That way, when we fire this up, we will know whether or not it's building air pressure. The old gauge was still there and good chance it worked, but I don't want to take a chance of having any air leaks. So because the whole system's new, we got a new gauge too. I think it looks pretty cool in there. I'm excited about it.
Well, howdy there. We are doing major Grandpa Grime wrap-up work. Aaron is getting the intake tube all prepared and to go through the side here where the old crusty one was coming out. This is huge. The kid and I have cleaned up along the edges of the truck. Like, she's over here sweeping like she was in episode 1 of Flying Sparks Garage. How crazy is that, kid?
What?
Okay, so I don't know if this has hit you, but this is pretty cool. So yesterday was March 15th. We posted our first episode on YouTube on March 15th of 2015. She was 3.
That's crazy.
Yesterday was 11 years that we've been doing YouTube.
That's wild.
And in the very first episode, you were sweeping the floor like this.
I was sweeping the floor like this
As a little bitty 3-year-old.
with a giant broom.
Yep. Isn't that cool? Dang. Yeah, so big party. Not really a big party. We're just partying in our hearts. 11 freaking years. That is so cool. And we have y'all to thank. But today's gonna be really exciting because we're gonna see this truck move under its own power. We are. I just know it. Aaron said he's got the air system really working, like really working. And he can hit the key and push the start button and it's gonna fire up, and it's got full exhaust now. Like
They all know this. They were with me all weekend. You were the one out partying.
yeah.
They were here with me fixing all this stuff.
Right. My party was at the Freedom Factory. The Australians brought me an amazing event and said, here's a microphone, go interview racers and burnout guys. It was so much fun. I am so honored to be a part of stuff for Freedom Plus, for Cletus's live stream stuff. That was just really, really fun. But it is really hard to leave big progress here. And Aaron and the kid working, and it's hard to leave. But it's a really cool little balance of things. So yeah, just flew in yesterday and we are back at it today. So it's gonna be awesome.
You buddy. Okay, so I think I've got our intake tubes put on. This turbo, if you'll remember, it was very difficult to find a factory T50 style turbo for it. So we ended up with an intake housing that was 4 inches. Now this truck back here is 5 1/4 inches. So this is a mess. It's crazy, but it's gonna work. So we got 5 1/4 down to 5. And then I just bought various tubes and things. This chrome piece is actually a chunk of exhaust pipe because I couldn't find a straight piece of aluminum. But it's all there. Clamps are tight, it's on.
Dude, this looks so good. It's gonna work, and that's all that counts. Heck yes. We got an exciting step happening. The brakes no longer need to be caged, so the cage bolts are going in storage position, right, kid?
Yeah.
Woohoo! Guess what we're about to do? Put some freaking water in the cooling system. We're crossing our fingers we don't have any leaks, but it's likely that we will. We just dumped some coolant flush in there though, and nothing leaked out. So we're about to turn the water hose on and get some juice in our cooling system, which will be really cool.
Yep, we're gonna put water in it. We've already put the radiator flush in it, run it a little bit, kind of try to get some of that rust and stuff out. Then once we can back this truck out, assuming the brakes and the clutch and the shifter and the things all do the things, we'll back it out, drain that water out, put some peak coolant in it. And then this will almost be a check mark, so we can load it on a trailer that we still don't own.
Oh my gosh. Once we pass that threshold of knowing it's gonna hold coolant, we'll be able to put the grill on and the hood on. Like, that's gonna get serious and it's gonna really start looking together. So we're pumped.
So I say, let's get going.
Yeah, I agree. You're gonna turn water on? What? Those are legit. Right? Yeah, that's like what we got for grime, but legit. We got plastic ones for grime.
no drippage.
Pretty cool. That's exciting. I feel bubbles coming up through this upper radiator hose. Like it's pushing air through. This is a huge step. Okay.
We don't immediately have leaks, that's a real good sign. I tried to plug everything up. We have 2 old hoses here that we did not replace. So those could be a problem.
That little go-between guy.
Yeah. Okay.
You gonna start now?
We're gonna start it. Yep.
Let's do it.
Okay. Are we ready?
I mean, it kind of feels like it.
Master switch going on.
Amy and I pulled these seats out earlier, and we're gonna see which one's most intact. So Aaron has somewhat of a seat. I think that one or that one.
This is not the right seat base, but it's gonna work. And it's pretty gross, but
Clear prop?
clear prop, dude. What?
Where'd the phone go down?
Oh, dang.
Why is it always our brand new phone that falls?
I know. It fell 3 times when I was trying to put it up there.
Okay, fire in the hole.
All right. It's going to take a minute to spin because whenever I wired this up, the starter is pulling electricity from my fuel solenoid, so I kind of got to get it spinning good.
Okay.
So I need to rewire that somehow, but for now, clear prop. Okay, our batteries may be getting low, so just screw that little manual actuator in on my fuel pump.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just bypassing the 12 volts.
Okay, it's all the way in tight.
All right, it'll go now. Clear? Oil pressure's good. I mean, we're already building air pressure. Yep, it must be set to kick off at about 110.
That's crazy.
Yep. You guys submit? The air dryer's working.
No way.
Yeah, unless they got it hooked up.
Oh yes, I did hear it spit when I was underneath it. There it was. Heck yeah.
See if it'll move.
Okay. Oh heck yeah, dude.
All right.
Oh my gosh, no way. It moved.
That is a good test. It goes in gear. The clutch works. A lot of times those clutches are welded when they sit like that. Clutch works. Parking brake works. Release of parking brake works. And the foot pedal works.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, we got the truck.
Incredible, dude.
Yeah.
So nuts.
Heck yeah. Get this thing out of my shop.
This is an exciting step, guys. We're gonna dump some of our Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme in here. It is their concentrated fuel injector cleaner, and we really trust these guys' products.
Treats up to 80 gallons.
Down the hatch.
Clear?
I think so.
See if we got enough juice to start it.
Okay.
Yep. Now I gotta find those bursts. All the way over and up. Feels like a high gear.
Guess it's time to hop in.
Yeah.
It smells like a delight in here.
Smells like what?
So it smells like a delight in here.
Yeah, diesel.
Kind of want to film from the outside, so.
Okay. I think that's my reverse.
Gotta find out.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Actually, we need to clean these windows.
Yeah.
Oh, no power steering.
Whoa, whoa.
Goodness.
Oh my.
The disadvantages of busy street.
Yeah. They better stop for this bad boy.
Yeah, no joke. I can tell you one thing, in 1953 men were men. They developed some muscle. Alright, let's try to find low gear. This took off like it was high gear earlier. Yeah, that's high gear. That's weird. Like this
Is it
transmission works
opposite?
backwards, yeah. It feels like our transmission works backwards.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, I think this is first gear and I gotta shift it backwards. I've missed my power steering already.
That'll be an upgrade we'll have to do for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, Grandpa is moving under his own power.
Yep.
This is pretty crazy.
Okay. This is insane.
Oh, did you see that?
When it straightens up.
Did you
Yeah.
see it?
Oil
This is
pressure, air
crazy.
pressure. It's running.
This is crazy.
This is crazy. That has got to be the
Wait, watch.
most massive steering wheel
Watch,
I've
ready,
ever
ready,
seen. You could break a finger off.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Can I grab another gear between here and the stop sign?
Yeah. Get it? Yes.
Down, downshift.
Got him.
Yeah, buddy.
Dude.
nothing. Why did they put springs in the seat?
We're sitting on a seat back, so it doesn't have the same springs.
No. What the heck?
He's so guilty. This is insane. Oh, look, our detailer guys are back.
Yeah.
This is a wild.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Literally, it's a driver.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
It starts. It runs.
stops.
It drives. I gotta adjust the parking brakes because they're setting, but just not tight enough. This new suspension's got automatic slack adjusters. I don't know why it's not tight, but it's not. So
Freaking wild.
yeah.
This is crazy.
You have to let us out from over here.
Oh yeah, we have no door. Or we can all squeeze out that way.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
If we can get out.
If I can get it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we were.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, you good?
Wild. Not a leak in sight, y'all. What the heck? That was an unreal experience.
Sure was.
Yep, makes you feel alive for sure.
That thing is a driver, and that is so wild. So the next task on Grandpa is to put the grill and the hood on, but before we do that, we're gonna jump over to Optimus Grime because we have a few things to check off the list on that truck. Check off freaking Grandpa's a driver. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe this thing drives as beautiful. I mean, that engine runs amazing. Sitting next to the kid with Aaron banging gears in that thing and hearing that 220 roar, I mean, that was just the coolest. She and I worked so hard building that engine, and he worked so hard reining himself in and teaching us. That was just such a cool experience. Add it to the list of all the ways that we love what we do. It just means so much, y'all. So the truck now runs and drives, and we still have a list of things to do, but I'm trying to keep these episodes around an hour, check stuff off the list, and keep you guys updated. What just took place last night is Sam, OTR Bandit, and Jeremy arrived here, and we loaded Grandpa Grime.
From Joplin, Missouri. They drove all the way down here.
Yes.
Jeremy rode with Bandit, took his car off the trailer, drove all the way back last night. He got back home at 5 o'clock. Keep in mind, he's
5 a.m.
5 a.m. this morning. Keep in mind, he has a lot to do with Four State being at the Mid-America Truck Show. So the dude's busy. He didn't just have extra time to come down here, but he did. It's pretty amazing.
Yep, we are so incredibly grateful to those guys. Loading the truck was an adventure, and I'm certain unloading it and then reloading it in Louisville will be an adventure in itself. So if you're going to the Mid-America Truck Show, please remember to watch for Bandit, Sam, and give him a high five, and watch for Jeremy, and drop into the Permatex booth, even if it's just to thank them for the love and support they show us.
Absolutely, and they had shirts made for us.
Yes.
They had some really cool shirts made with Grandpa Grime on it that we were going to be autographing. Obviously, we can't do that remotely. So go there, check it out, look at the truck, and they've got a shirt for you, which is really cool.
Yep, it's going to be a one-of-a-kind shirt. So they're not being mass-produced. They were special for the show, and they're giving them away. So y'all absolutely pop in there, grab a shirt, and tell the people at Permatex how much their support means to you and us, because it means a ton to us.
Absolutely, and all the adventure of loading it up on the trailer and stuff, you'll catch that on the next episode. Is it hitting bad?
It's gonna hit the 90. It's so close.
I can back up and we can throw 4x4s under that rear set,
Okay.
and it should pick it
Let's
up.
do it.
Yeah.
Anything gets damaged on this thing, I am going into hiding. I'm changing my name.
You definitely can't damage anything. Like, don't tear my truck up.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got a lot of footage and it's kind of jumbled and our heads are scrambled, so we're getting it out as we can. So if anything seems out of place, or if our audio's off or anything like that, just have a little grace with us. We're trying our best to get footage out and be present and everything with the whole world that seems crazy right now.
Yep. My family is all doing really good. My grandpa is doing his best to be present in this chapter of his life, and we're just loving on him, and we're just so grateful for the time we have, and we're so thankful for you guys. So we look forward to seeing you on the next episode, and if you're at Matt's this week, go give Grandpa Grime a hug. Thank y'all so
And post
much.
as a picture on social media, Grandpa Grind 350, and we'll be able to see it, which would be really neat.
Yep, that's his hashtag.
Yep.
Thank y'all so much, and we'll see you guys on the next episode for more progress.